Relieve, respond, revive. WSFL-TV presents The Rebound, South Florida.
Their stress levels have been very, very high.
Helping teachers cope. It's been a tough year in and out of the classroom. A new program aims to help teachers deal with their mental health and stress in some unique ways. Making ends meet. We know it's a real struggle for so many South Florida families, but there are government programs available to help. We'll take a closer look at what's out there and why you may want to apply for them now.
We are more than just people with autism. We are people who can change lives and change people.
A local car wash company is hiring with hopes of giving people with special needs a place to grow and flourish. The inspiration behind the owner's employment process. The Rebound South Florida starts right now.
Tonight, as the COVID-19 vaccine continues to be distributed across our state, I wanted to know if our elected leaders plan on getting the vaccine and if they believe they deserve an early dose. In a recent interview,
I probably won't need to take the vaccine, but we'll see over time.
U.S. Senator Rick Scott told our partners at Newsy why he may say no to the COVID-19 vaccine.
I've already had COVID, so I'll be checking to see if I have the antibodies. If I have the antibodies, I don't know why I would need to take a vaccine.
Will you take the vaccine, Congressman? Are you planning on taking the vaccine when it's available?
So we're asking other Florida lawmakers about their personal plans for the shot.
Are you planning to take the vaccine?
I am planning to take the vaccine, as well as my husband and my two teenage and young adult children.
Florida Senator Tina Polsky is a Democrat representing parts of Palm Beach and Broward counties, among the areas in the state hardest hit by COVID-19.
We want things to go back to normal. We need to trust in the science that brought us this vaccine.
I am absolutely planning on taking the vaccine when it's available.
Senator Lori Berman, also a South Florida Democrat, is also eager to get a shot in the arm.
I would be the first one in line right now if I had the opportunity.
Democrat Michael Greco of Miami is a yes, but eager, not so much. I'm a huge wimp with needles, he emailed us. Of Florida's nearly 200 lawmakers, just 15% responded so far. Senator Kelly Stargell of Central Florida told us she has the antibodies, so a shot wouldn't be the best use of the state's limited supply. A few others refused to share their personal plans, calling it a private matter. Of the ones who did, most said yes. Republican Representative Anthony Sabatini of Lake County added, "As a member of the Florida Army National Guard, I will likely be mandated to receive the vaccine, and will take it. If I was not a first responder, I would not seek to take it since I'm not in the high-risk category." Representative Fentrice Driscoll, a Democrat in Hillsborough, told us she hasn't reached a decision, but called for equitable access to the vaccine. Access most lawmakers who responded agreed they shouldn't get early.
I'm anxious to take it. But again, I'm not going to take it unless I'm in line for it.
Despite some chatter about giving members of Congress an early dose, U.S. Congressman Gus Spilourakis, a Republican on Florida's West Coast, doesn't believe lawmakers who don't meet the CDC's priority guidelines should jump the line.
I don't want to seek any special treatment.
Florida lawmakers will start meeting in Tallahassee come January with weekly COVID tests. Senator Berman believes then there might be a case for legislators getting the vaccine, as long as frontline workers and the elderly get their doses first.
We need to make sure that people who are essential workers need to be covered. And if politicians have to be out there as essential workers, then I would think you need to be covered.
At this point, we are unaware of any talk to move lawmakers to the state's priority list. As for the governor, we're told he wants to get a vaccine, can get one early, but hasn't because he doesn't want to jump the line. Katie Legrone, WSFL TV.
It's been a rough year for parents and kids as they navigate through COVID-19. But it's also been hard on a group that both rely on, teachers. Now a program is expanding to help teachers with their mental health in some unique ways. It's been a long, empty year at many schools across the country, and for those who work there.
I think it has been one of the most watershed years in my 30-some years of education that I've ever seen.
Corinne Tolchinsky-Cohen is an assistant principal at Bell Elementary School in Montgomery County, Maryland, home of the largest school district in the state. The more than 11,000 teachers here, like many all over the world, face tough challenges brought on by virtual learning.
Their stress levels have been very, very high.
Recognizing that, the school district partnered with Kaiser Permanente for RISE, which stands for Resilience in School Environments, part of their Thriving Schools program. The idea is to help teachers improve their own mental health and coping abilities.
The effort of just having to overdo it on the screen so that your students can stay engaged, one, and continue to learn. I mean, they've just had to grow their repertoire so much.
Erin Van Leuven is a licensed clinical social worker who leads some of the programs. Some of what they do involves yoga.
We're going to extend our arms out in front of us, interlace our fingers.
And virtual dance parties.
You made it through your first month of virtual learning.
People that can regulate their own emotions when crisis comes into their life, you know, they are much more able to be effective and efficient, and they're much more likely to bounce back.
Among her 3 main suggestions, which can work for anyone, make sure to give yourself a bio break, like deep breathing or even stretching for a few minutes. Try to eat 2 healthy meals a day with fruits and vegetables, because that impacts your overall health, including mental health. And finally, take up a hobby you enjoy and do it.
Everybody should be taking care of their emotional wellness. And it doesn't really take much more than, 10 to 30 minutes a day.
For educators, the advice and camaraderie with fellow teachers has helped. And now Kaiser Permanente plans to expand the program to other school districts.
I am so proud of the teachers in my school and all teachers. They have adapted so beautifully.
Adapting to a new way of doing things for now. I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
I did not have access to the information I needed for programs that already existed that I just needed to know about.
Here's what's next on the Rebound South Florida. A Miami-Dade school board member inspired by her own journey, how she's stepping up to give back and change the course for hundreds of local students. WSFL-TV is proud to work with Meals on Wheels South Florida to help homebound seniors in need. Tonight, we're highlighting one of their programs that would provide 2 weeks of meals within 24 hours. We'll explain how it works.
Helping students rebound, Miami-Dade County's new school board member, Luisa Santos, has only been in office for a little over a month and has already introduced her first proposal. The item will provide resources for undocumented and mixed status families to help guide them in the right direction.
My first item seeks to ensure that we have yearly training for our counselors and our support staff in schools so that they have the information to share with students that is timely and appropriate for what's happening in the real world.
Luisa Santos has been a Miami-Dade County school board member for a little over a month and has already introduced her first proposal. The item will provide school resources to undocumented and mixed status families to help guide them in the right direction.
A resource guide will be available hopefully by next year and will be accessible to all families who need that information. And of course, the second part of the item is that our counselors will have yearly training, so they also know the information for when students ask them for that kind of specific guidance.
On the heels of the reinstatement of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals by a federal judge last week, the proposal provides timely, pragmatic, and tangible resources to students who have now regained an opportunity to obtain a post-secondary education.
Every situation is different, and that's why this item really seeks to make sure that we cover our bases, whether it's DACA, TPS, fully undocumented, or even citizen children who have undocumented parents. That becomes a huge challenge when you're trying to go to college.
Santos emigrated to Miami from Colombia as an undocumented immigrant when she was 8 years old. So as a former undocumented student, she understands the value of accessible resources and information students and families need to succeed.
I did not have access to the information I needed for programs that already existed that I just needed to know about. And my teachers scrambled and tried so hard and found some options for me, but they also were not equipped with the tools and information they needed to continue to guide me as they had done through so many other kind of goals I had set for myself. And so that is the inspiration.
To learn more about the item and other items Santos is working on to improve our schools, head to WCFLTV.com.
Still ahead, while the pandemic continues to grow, so does the struggle to survive financially. The programs available that could help your family make ends meet.
You want to reinforce success and capability, but that doesn't happen without failure. So he's learned that he can fail, get back up, and try again.
It's more than just a job, it's a life lesson. A local car wash is helping people with special needs, and the hope to inspire our communities one wash at a time. You're watching The Rebound, South Florida. Getting through this with stories to help get back on track as we rebound in South Florida.
Millions of Americans have never been in such a dire financial situation, in desperate need of a federal stimulus package to survive. But experts say many may not be aware of all the government help out there and available to them outside of a stimulus package. Here's insight into that additional help and why it's so important for anyone in need to apply right now.
People around the country have been waiting at least 8 months for Congress to pass another stimulus package.
It seems like every time we get really, really close and then nothing transpires.
Elizabeth Pancotti is a policy advisor at Employ America.
There's like a sense of urgency within the halls of Congress, but that sense of urgency was there at the end of July when the $600 top-off expired.
Pancotti says those who have lost their job and can't afford to pay rent shouldn't wait to apply for help already available to them. They should consider 3 programs many don't know about, especially if they have never needed this kind of help before.
The first of those is SNAP, more commonly known as food stamps, and that can provide $200 to $600 typically dollars per week. The second program is TANF, or Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. Now, the problem with TANF is that it does have a work requirement. The third program is going to be on a state-by-state basis, and so some unemployment insurance offices have tried to extend benefits for longer or to top off benefits. For example, in the District of Columbia, they're planning to send checks to every PUA recipient.
It's important to note that SNAP benefits can only be used for food, and while TANF usually has a work requirement, most states are not enforcing that during this pandemic. Most importantly, note that it could take up to 30 days for someone to get enrolled in these programs, so apply now, and apply even with the new stimulus package.
Even if Congress comes to an agreement this week, it is very likely that there will be a lag in getting those top-off payments. If there's a $300 or $400 top-off added to payments, it will be weeks before that starts showing up on checks. It'll be weeks before people who are kicked out of the system will be brought back in.
These 3 programs could get millions through the likely gap in their income. I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
We know so many of you are struggling to find work, so we want you to know who's hiring. This week is extra special because one local company is hiring individuals on the autism spectrum to provide them with an opportunity to build a career and achieve independence.
We are more than just people with autism. We are people who can change lives and change people in general.
Sean Paul works at Rising Tide Car Wash and is more than grateful for his job.
Rising Tide Car Wash helps people with special needs have a job so they can have purpose in life.
Located in Margate, Parkland, and soon in Coral Springs, Rising Tide strives to inspire communities to change their perception of the capabilities of people with autism. John DeErie was inspired by his son Andrew to open the car wash to help him achieve adult life responsibilities.
He would be home, digressing. Employment possibility would move further and further away because the more he's home and digresses, the more rehabilitation he would need for an employment environment. He would have very few friends versus this community, and he wouldn't have a sense of I can do things.
Manager positions are open and are for those who don't have special needs.
What they made me do was actually start at every position so I can get comfortable with knowing what I'm going to be instructing people to do, which was really cool because, it kind of worked from the ground up.
For John, his dream of starting something for his son became a successful reality.
You want to reinforce success and capability, but that doesn't happen without failure. So he's learned that he can fail, get back up, and try again.
John says they do offer a training program for new employees. For more information on how to apply, head to WSFLTV.com.
They sat and talked to me for 2 hours.
Here's what's next on the Rebound South Florida. For some local Florida seniors, Meals on Wheels is a critical service, but it's not just the food that's making an impact. How you can also make a difference.
Each week here on The Rebound, we've been telling you about Meals on Wheels South Florida and their many programs to help homebound seniors in need. One of their programs provides 2 weeks worth of food within 24 hours to older adults who find themselves stranded with no food and no way to get any.
Really, they saved me, and I've never gone back to the hospital again.
93-year-old Kay Peters says Meals on Wheels saved her life.
I was sick constantly, so that I was living, I think you would say, on ice cream and Cokes and hamburgers.
Before receiving her specially tailored meals, she was eating anything she could easily get.
When I was in the hospital, they said that I had these terrible pains, like knives cutting in the lower part of my stomach. And they said if I had to come back again, I'd have to be operated on. And that scared me.
For seniors like Kay, the emergency meal plan is critical. A lot of seniors who receive these meals are usually coming out of the hospital or a rehabilitation center without food to come home to.
The emergency meal program started about 7 years ago when we realized that we had a waiting list for our federally funded home delivered meal program, and some people needed meals right away.
This year, the nonprofit has seen an increase in demand. With funding provided by the Jim Moran Foundation, they've been able to provide triple the amount of meals.
We're always pretty much at capacity with this program, but we've served over 350 clients with these emergency meals.
Kay says the meals are great, but the service and amount of care she's received from the nonprofit is priceless.
They sat and talked to me for 2 hours. By the time they explained things to me, I never had a pain again.
Meals on Wheels South Florida, which provides over 1 million meals to homebound seniors every year, has seen an immense increase in need of food. With the CARES Act funding set to expire by the end of the year, they're worried and pleading for your help. If you'd like to contribute to the nonprofit's mission, you can find more information on our website, WSFLTV.com. Every week on The Rebound, we've been highlighting people and their communities in South Florida. Every place has something different to love. Kayla Zadie says she loves the greenery that surrounds Pembroke Pines and has been enjoying the abundance of parks the city has to offer.
I've lived in Pembroke Pines for, I want to say, almost 19 years. I've really been able to watch it grow into the suburbia that it is now. I love all the parks. I've been able to make the most of it at the local parks and just enjoy outside. Pembroke Pines is the perfect suburb to come and raise your family, being away from the more metropolitan areas, and you are in a perfect little suburban town where you can still experience, the liveliness and the fun and the activities that cities have to offer while being able to come back home to your quiet setting and being able to relax and settle down with your family.